Big Z Reviews. Rambo: Last Blood is the newest Rambo film, and supposedly the last one, at least until someone decides to reboot it. And it is a weird mess of a film.
And if it comes looking for me, they will welcome death. I want revenge.
Ride till I can't no more.
So I have a lot of odd feelings about this film because at a certain point, like, there's a section of the film which is just horribly bloody and gory and awesome action. And if the film was like just that, if the film was like 20 minutes of Rambo murdering a bunch of people, I think I would have liked it a lot more. But the problem is they tried to give it a story, and the story is horrible. And it's a lot of very problematic things in it. But it's weird. Like, they're going for a savior story, a Taken style. Though, the divorced dad sort of film, the empowering for the old man film, that still get the job done and save the daughter character. But they don't. And to talk about what this film is and why I hated it and stuff I didn't like about it, I do have to do a full spoiler review. If you don't want spoilers, this isn't the review for you. Because I am going to go through the movie and say what the F was going on with this film. So right from the beginning, it's an odd choice. Like, I guess after the last film, he's decided to settle down at this ranch, and he becomes the surrogate father to this girl, and it's some odd choices, but they needed to get the virgin girl, the beautiful virgin daughter character, so that they can have someone to be that's kidnapped and he can go save them. But it's funny. Sylvester Stallone is like he's built this giant cave system on his ranch, and you see this, you walking around this cave system, and like, they spent a lot of money on this cave. They're definitely going to come back here for the climax of the film. And what's funny, watching him, he's now blacksmithing his blades, but they don't, if they don't do it well, like he's just hammering on a knife blank, and then like it's red hot, and he immediately shoves it into a bunch of water, and I'm like, you're gonna have a bunch of cracks in that. So shoving that steel in the cold water as red hot, it's not even like it was ready. It's not like he was quenching it. He was just shoving it in the water for no apparent reason. And you're gonna get a bunch of cracks in that blade. That's just something that I know a little bit about blacksmithing. That I'm like, oh. But the inciting incident is that this daughter surrogate is she wants to find out about her dad, who's living in Mexico and who's a douchebag, and she's asked her friend, who's now living in Mexico too, who's a bitch and horrible person, asks her to find the dad, and she does. So she goes down to Mexico by herself, even though Stallone says, "Don't do it. You don't know what's going on, and I can't protect you." Sorry, I can't do a Stallone voice. But he is very hard to understand. But even more so in this film than other films. But, it's so odd. He goes down there to Mexico by herself, and he goes to this horrible section of the town to see her friend. And her friend is like so stereotypical cholo. She's wearing like the plaid and the necklace, and everything is so stereotypical, and she's acting so weird. Like, you see the camera, like you see her staring at her golden bracelet, and you see her like she's acting odd, but she did get the info about the dad. The info she got about the dad is real, and she goes to see a dad, and the dad is so weird. Like, it's at first he seems like kind of a nice guy, And then as I found out why he left, it's like, it's because I never liked you. I hated you. I hated your mom. And it's like his whole long thing is like, oh, he's horrible. Okay. and and then he goes back to, you know, I was expecting the dad to be a bad guy, like a dad to be involved in the cartels or something, but no, it's just he's just a douchebag. But it turns out that the friend is like, hey, let's go to a party, and even though we're 17, and even though the friend looks like she's 30 something, but they go to a party and she gets drugged and she gets sold into sexual slavery, and it's like, oh boy. And then, you know, John Rambo has to go down to Mexico and save his daughter. And I couldn't help but thinking that, like, I was waiting for at some point to him to put on a red Make America Great Again hat. Because there's a lot of weird stuff about this. And it's a lot of problematic stuff. But it's funny is that it doesn't even kind of work. Like, I mean, he gets down there. And, I mean, there's some cool scenes, like, with him, you know, trying to find out where the daughter is. Like, he goes to the friend, and it's like, he figures out right away that, like, you wearing her bracelet. You sold her into sexual slavery. But then he goes on this, you know, later on there's this whole rampage with this cartel, which has kidnapped the daughter. But the one that the worst person in the movie is the friend. She sold her own friend into sexual slavery for a golden bracelet, and she never gets any comeuppance for it. Like, it's so odd. Like, the worst person in the movie doesn't get any comeuppance, and neither does the father. Like, the real father doesn't get any comeuppance for being a horrible person. Like, he should have murdered them, but I guess they didn't want to have Rambo murdering a woman. They wanted to have him murdering a bunch of cartel men, But, you know, it's funny. Like, you think there's going to be longer. You think they're going to have to try to save her. But, like, pretty soon that, like, he tries to go immediately to this cartel's base of operations, and there's like hundreds of men there that they stop him and they beat him within an inch of his life, and they brutalize the daughter, and and there's like this weird reporter character that's only there to move the plot along, saves him. But, you know, the daughter, it's like, okay, so what are they gonna do with the daughter? They're gonna, you know, they're gonna. I mean, they go out of her way to make it show that she's this beautiful virgin, and I mean, you can sell her in the black market, I think, if they wanted to, but instead they gang rape her and they cut her up and they inject her with a bunch of heroin, and it's like oh, so So I guess they're not doing the Taken thing where somehow she's completely still innocent. She's, that's a lot. And I guess they can still save her. And they go back, and there's this 5-day scene, like, where, like, he has to recover from being brutalized, and now he has to go save her again. And it's funny, when this scene, he goes into this bordello and save her, and it reminded me so much of one of my favorite films from last year, You Were Never Really Here, where the character goes into this pedophilia bordello and just takes a hammer to everybody. But like, that film was so well, but they don't really show the hammer. In this one, they really go out of the way to show him hammering people's skulls in. But it seems like, it was like, oh, they snap his fingers and he saved her. It's like, oh, okay. So what's the movie gonna do now? And here is the stupidest and worst part of the film, and where the story doesn't make any sense. They're doing a savior-style story. And he saved her. I was thinking, okay, they went out of their way earlier to have a scene where, like, a girl that escaped and was brought back is, like, brutalized and saying that, and he goes away and say, if any of you try to escape, know that I will find you, I'll bring you back, and I'll kill you to show you to show all the other girls never to try escaping. So it's like, okay, so he's gonna take her back to the house, and they're gonna send an army of cartel guys to get her back. And no, on the trip home, she dies in the car for no reason. And it's like, what'd she die of? She was fine. She was high, but she was fine. And I mean, yes, she had a, the big cut in her face, and she's been injected for a bunch of heroin, and she'd been brutally gang raped. But, like, she seems like she's fine. But then, like, she's just sitting there, and she's like, eh. And he's like, no, close your eyes, no, eh. And then, like, but, like, he doesn't stop. He doesn't try to give her CPR. He doesn't try to take her to a hospital. He's just like, she's dead. But you don't know why she died. Like, was it infection? Like, she didn't die of an overdose. She wouldn't have died then. She would have already been dead when he found her. It's like such an odd choice. And too, it's like they're trying to make a statement when they go back. He goes back to America. He drives his car through this tiny little fence. So it's like, oh, this because you wouldn't let Trump build a wall. But then later, the cartel army goes under this huge cave system that goes under the fence that's there. So it's like, it's so many mixed messages. They're not even trying to deliver the Trumper message. Like, I don't know what they're trying to deliver here. But it's so odd. Like, I mean, for me, the biggest thing I would change is have the daughter not die. I mean, it makes so much more sense. Like, I mean, why does he have to bring them to his cave system instead of trying to take them all out in Mexico? Like, I mean, it could just been as bloody and as cool. I mean, you wouldn't have the whole cave Home Alone sort of thing to do. But if you're gonna go back home, you should have had the daughter be alive, and you could have even had the more movie here, because the film is short. It's like an hour and 10 minutes long, and there was like at the end of the film, there's like a 5-minute montage of like scenes from all the movies, including the very movie that's in. I couldn't help. I was just laughing my ass off at this film, thinking that it would do a montage of everything you just saw in this film, like it was important. And it was just to pad the length of the movie, I think. Because, I mean, it was like barely over an hour long. And it's odd. But, I mean, there could have been more movie here. Could have had, instead of having a montage of him setting up all these traps, you could have had him, like, helping his daughter heal and come to terms with, being brutalized, and giving her a knife and training her with a bow, and maybe having her get ready to help him defend their house when the cartel comes, like, and have her be a little mini Rambo, be a little female Rambo, because, like, that this trauma she had could be like her, it could be like his Vietnam, but something else for her. And I feel like they could have had all these scenes, like, of them defending his house, but have them a reason to defend it, because the daughter is there. And, because there's no reason for him to want to win. Like, if he succeeds in killing everyone and not dying, now he just has to live with himself. And it's odd. The scenes we do get are kind of fun. But you get to see Rambo kill a bunch of Mexicans. And I couldn't help but think that there was another movie in here where this Vietnam vet goes crazy, goes off his meds, suffering from PTSD, and goes to Mexico and kills a bunch of Mexicans that he thinks are in a cartel that kidnapped his daughter. Like, there's another movie in here somewhere. But, it's so odd when they have all these scenes and this. I was expecting the police to come. Like, he is in America, and this army of cartel people invaded the U.S. of A and tried to kill his family, kill him, and it's like, there's no police at all. It's like, oh, huh. It's really just such a poorly crafted film. And, I mean, the acting is bad. The action is fun when it's there, but there's just not that much of it. I mean, there's a huge action scene at the end, but there's, like, no build-up to it. Like, the rest of it is pretty slim on action. And it's so many odd things about it. And it's so racist. But at the same time, they want to be careful, but like he can't kill a woman. He can't, like, the worst person in the movie that sold his daughter into sexual slavery. He can't do anything to her. That wouldn't be Rambo. But it's funny. I kept thinking at the end, like I said, like I was waiting for the police to come. I was waiting for a police guy to come up. So you working again, John? You know, like John Wick. You know, with John Rambo. And but they never do that. There's nothing tongue in cheek about it. Like, it's too serious. It's just not good. I would not recommend it. I mean, if you're a fan of Rambo, like, maybe watch the 20 minutes of action, but don't watch the rest of the film. Like, I'd probably give it like a 5 out of 10, 4 out of 10. Not a good movie. But thanks for watching. Today, let me play from my head and subscribe if you can see over there. Thanks. This has been a Big Z movie review. Thanks for watching.